One of the things I like to do in my spare time, which I don't get to do very much because I don't have very much spare time, is take in a little Shakespeare. It's tough. About 15 years ago, there were a lot of Shakespeare movies coming out. It's not as many coming out anymore. It's tough to find an opportunity to go out and see a Shakespeare play in Kansas City. It's only usually in the summer. It's tough to get away to see the Shakespeare down, by the Nelson Atkins. Huh? My first time I saw a Shakespeare play, I was we called it junior high school back then, right? Middle school. We got a field trip to Delphi University and saw this college production of Romeo and Juliet. And the seventh grader art critic in me, the theater critic in me, did not appreciate what these college kids had produced. So I was sour on Shakespeare until, in the early 80s, the British Broadcasting Corporation, right, the BBC, decided to do a television productions of all of Shakespeare plays. And it was that I encountered in the early 80s. I was a teenager, this production of Midsummer's Night Dream, right? You know this play, right? How, oh, what fools these mortals be, huh? Helen Mirren, the great Helen Mirren played Titania, and especially her portrayal of Titania grabbed my attention. But I'm not talking about Dame Helen, and I'm not talking about Titania. I'm talking about the four young lovers in the middle of the play, huh? Hermia and Lysander, Helena and Demetrius. How Hermia and Lysander were in love with one another, and Helena and Demetrius, but the father there had a different plan, and there was a planned elopement, because of all the drama of young love, huh? And then the fairies come along, and love potions, and mistaken identity, huh? And I won't try to unpack the whole play here because there's a lot more going on than that. But it was, of course, ended up the romantic comedy that it is, causing all sorts of confusion. In the middle of the play, right, when when folks are now in love with people they used to not be in love with, and people are now hating people they didn't used to be in love with, all very confusing, huh? In the middle of Act 3, Scene 2, you've got Hermia and Lysander and Helena and Demetrius going back and forth, telling how much one loved the other, how much one yearned for the other, and how much they hated the other one. And it's all very confusing. And in this production, they all were speaking on top of each other. It was difficult to know what was going on, of course, unless, of course, you open the play and read it. They were so busy, sisters and brothers, telling each other how much they loved each other, they couldn't be bothered to listen to each other. And how often is it, sisters and brothers, in our relationship with God, we spend a lot of time, don't we, telling God how much we love him, that we don't spend a lot of time listening to him and letting him love us. We hear in the scriptures, sisters and brothers, how the scribe comes forward and asks Jesus this important question, yes? What is the first of all the commandments? And Jesus gives him probably the answer he was expecting, huh? Shema Yisrael. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord alone. Therefore, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart. It was familiar to the scribe. It was familiar to everyone who was listening. Because then, as is now, parents in Israel and parents in Judea would teach their children this prayer, Shema Yisrael, this nice verse, from Deuteronomy chapter 6, both in the Hebrew and in the vernacular, which was probably Aramaic for these folks, huh? Shema, Yisrael, hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord alone. Taught as they were to say it 3 times a day. They knew this prayer by heart. In the same way we teach our children the Lord's Prayer, yes? You kids know the Lord's Prayer, the Our Father, right? You know this prayer, right? Not yet. You'll get there. How we teach them the Hail Mary, yes? How we teach them the Glory Be. Even today, sisters and brothers, Jewish parents, and I'm sure your friends who are Jewish can tell you this, they teach their kids this prayer, Shema Yisrael. Hear, O Israel. The Lord is our God, the Lord alone. Therefore you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart. Which is the first of all the commandments. No surprise. No surprise yet. Because, of course, sisters and brothers, we think that BOGO is a new fad, right? Buy one, get one, huh? The scribe asked for the first commandment, and Jesus gives us 2. The second is this: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And he's still quoting the Hebrew scriptures here, sisters and brothers. Not from Deuteronomy, but from Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 18. Less well known, but the scribe will have surely known it. It's worth, sisters and brothers, looking at the entire verse. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18. Take no revenge and cherish no grudge against your own people. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. There is no other commandment greater than these. What is the greatest commandment? And our Lord's first word is hear. We are called to listen so that we can come to love. We are called to love our neighbor as ourselves because love is hard work. And loving our neighbor as ourselves gives us the practice we need in order to love God. And listening to our neighbor helps us build the skill we need to listen to God. There is no other commandment greater than these. But it's not just a commandment. Not just a commandment. It's an invitation, and a wonderful invitation at that. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. Loving God means, first of all, listening to God. Loving God means first loving our neighbor. Is it hard work? Is this difficult? You bet. But as we strive to learn how to listen, as we strive to learn how to love, we can turn always, always, always to Jesus Christ, our high priest, holy, innocent, undefiled, separated from sinners, higher than the heavens. So that learning to listen and learning to love sisters and brothers, we may offer God right and praiseworthy service and may hasten without stumbling to receive the good things that God has promised us. Praise be Jesus Christ, now and forever.